Whether you're a candidate on the campaign trail, a supporter, or a protester, it's good to know when your First Amendment rights are being violated or when you're just being an asshole. Protesting a candidate. First Amendment issue, a-hole issue.
Protesting a candidate is at the heart of the First Amendment. It's a form of political speech, political criticism, political dissent. That's why the First Amendment was adopted, is to shield public discussion of political affairs.
Blocking a road because you don't want people to get to an event. First Amendment issue, a-hole issue.
Probably on the jerk side, because even though you do have First Amendment rights to speak, you don't have a First Amendment right to obstruct somebody from traveling on the roads, for example.
What if you think the speaker's really, really bad and you don't want anyone else to decide for themselves if the speaker is bad?
Well, you don't have that right to make that determination for the other speakers that might hear the guy.
Inciting violence. Can we talk about that? Because I've tried to incite violence in the past, but nobody really wants to listen to me. What am I doing wrong?
Well, maybe you should just become more of a persuasive speaker.
So inciting violence is good?
No, that's not what I'm saying. You were complaining that you weren't being effective. But in terms of whether you could be prosecuted for inciting violence, the court basically said that, look, these are legitimate political dissent ideas, even though you may agree or not agree with them, just like other political dissent ideas. And so the court finally ruled that you could not, governments could not criminalize incitement to illegal conduct, including violence, unless certain requirements were met, and basically unless the speech would be the match that lit the fuse that would cause an imminent explosion of violence.
Man, I want that power. So say I go to a rally for Hillary Clinton, and I'm just shouting at her the whole time. People are telling me to shut up, and I'm like, no, I got this. This is my right. Is it my right, or am I just being an asshole?
Well, you may be a jerk, who knows, I don't know. But if it's a private event...
We know each other well enough to know that I'm a pretty cool guy, so...
That's probably right.
Thank you.
But if it's a private event, then again, private organizers generally have the right to control the speech that occurs in the private event. If it's a public event now, generally hecklers do not have rights. So it's sort of a core principle that speakers shouldn't be silenced because hecklers don't like what they're saying. So for the most part, the government is expected to keep the hecklers orderly while they allow the speaker to speak. There is one minor exception to that, though, that if the speaker is in a situation where he or she knows that a virtual riot is imminent and they continue on with their inflammatory speech, where it would result in a riot, that's the one instance where the court has said, well, then the government can come in and silence the speaker.
So much for the revolution. Okay. Thanks for watching, guys. If there are any scenarios that you're not sure whether they fall into the First Amendment side or being an asshole side or a little bit of both, be sure to mention them in the comments section. And make sure to subscribe to We the Internet TV.